Hello and welcome back to .NET in Minutes. In this episode, I want to talk about one of the most fundamental ideas in programming and system design. The words are state and stateless. We hear them all the time, especially in backend development. But what do they really mean? What do they matter? And how do they change the way we build software? So, before programming, let's think about daily life. Imagine you play chess with a friend. After 10 minutes, you stop. The chessboard remembers all the moves so far. When you come back, you can continue. That's state. The chessboard holds the memory of the game. Another example, Netflix. You watch a movie, stop at 45 minutes, close the app. Next time, Netflix remember where you left off. That's state. The app keep information about your position. And one more example, a restaurant order. If the waiter writes down that you want a burger with no onions, the note is state. It remembers your choice until you get the food. So a simple word, state is memory. It is information about the past that changes the present. Now let's move to the code. In programming, state is the data stored in a variable, object, or system at a given time. For example, int counter equal 0, counter plus plus. The value of counter is state. Each change from 0 to 1, and that change affect the future. Another example, a shopping cart in an online store. When you add an item, the cart remembers it. That memory is state. So, in software, variables hold state. Sessions in web app hold states. Even a file saved on disk is state. Without state, software would be static. With state, software becomes interactive. Now, let's talk about stateless. Stateless means every request is independent. The system does not remember past requests. A good example is a REST API. If you send a GET request to /product/123, the server gives you data, but the server does not remember that you asked for it. If you send the same request again, it gives you the same data again. Each request is new, without memory. That's stateless. Another example, a calculator. When you type 2 plus 2, it gives you 4. It doesn't remember what you called yesterday. Every calculation is independent. So, stateless systems are simple, scalable, and predictable. Okay, advantages of stateful system. Why do we need state? 1. Personalization. Without state, Netflix cannot remember your watch list. Spotify cannot remember your playlist. Games cannot remember your progress. 2. Efficiency. If a system remembers who you are, you don't need to log in again every time. Sessions and cookies make this possible. 3. Context. State helps software respond differently based on history. Example, if you add item to a cart, checkout only works if the cart remembers them. So, state makes software human friendly. Okay, now we'll speak about advantages of stateless system. Why do we need stateless? 1. Scalability. If a server is stateless, you can easily add more servers. Each request can go to any machine because no memory is required. Simplicity. Stateless systems are easier to understand and debug. Every request has all the information needed. And 3. Reliability. If one of server fails, another can take over because there is no memory to lose. Nothing is broke. That's why REST APIs, serverless functions, and microservices often prefer stateless design. Okay, pitfalls of both. But both approaches have problems. Too much state can make system fragile. Example, if a server keeps session data in memory and that server crash, all users lose their session. Too much statelessness can make systems slow. Example, if every request must send all details again and again, performance can drop. So, in real life, we often mix both. Stateless APIs with small state stored in tokens like JWT, stateful app with caching and backups to avoid losing memory. Balance is the key. Remember that. Balance is the key. Let's look at how big companies use these ideas. Netflix. Stateless servers for scalability, but state stored in databases to remember what you watch. Facebook. Stateless APIs, but state in cookies, session, and huge databases for posts and likes. Online games. Games are very stateful. They must remember scores, player positions, inventories, but the backend servers often try to keep as much logic stateless as possible to handle millions of players. So, real world systems are never 100% one of the other. They combine both depending on the needs. So, guys, let's wrap up today's episode. State means memory, it is information about the past that affect the present. Stateless means no memory. Every request is fresh and independent. Stateful systems are personal, efficient, and context-aware. Stateless systems are simple, scalable, and reliable. Real software is usually a mix of both. So, next time you hear state and stateless, remember, it's not about right or wrong. It's about choosing the right balance for your problem. Thank you for staying with me in this longer episode of .NET in Minutes. If you enjoy it, please share it with a friend who is learning programming and tell me which concept you want me to explain next. See you next time, guys. Love, love.